Exceptional design and fast power have been the hallmark features of Bugatti vehicles for around 110 years. The French manufacturer of hyper sports cars now consistently pursues this path further with the new special edition Chento Dei. In addition, Bugatti is echoing its recent history with an exclusive and extraordinary small series. With the Chento Dei, we pay homage to the EB110's super sports car, which was built in the 1990s and is very much a part of our traditional steeped history, says Stephen Winkleman, president of Bugatti. With the EB110, Bugatti catapulted itself to the top of the automotive world once again after 1956 with a new model. It was a crucial interim step for the production facility that was newly founded in Molsheim in 1998, taking Bugatti back to its roots in France and the hyper-sports car of modern times, the Veyron. We are proud of our long Bugatti history, of which the EB110 is very much a part. That's why we're celebrating a reinterpretation of its extraordinary vehicle with the Chento Dei, Italian for 110, says Stephen Winkleman. The EB110 was built in Italy, but from the very outset, it never denied its French influences. Former owner Romano Attalio opened the factory on Ettore Bugatti's 109th birthday, 15th of September 1990. Attalio made a deliberate choice in opting a small town in Emilia-Romagna. The location had a key advantage in the 1990s. It was the catchment area of several Italian sport car brands, so Attalio was easily able to recruit experienced employees for his project. Attalio presented the super sports car EB110 to the public on Ettore Bugatti's 110th birthday, hence the type designation. EB for Ettore Bugatti, 110 for his 110th birthday. New three-dimensional design. There are many areas in which the new special edition Bugatti, the Chento Dei, echoes the former super sports car of the 1990s. The challenge was not to allow oneself to be captivated too much by the design of the historic vehicle and work solely in retrospect, but instead to create a modern interpretation of the shape and technology of that time, says Achim Anstedt, head designer of Bugatti. Even sportier and more extreme the Bugatti Chiron and Devo hypersports cars, yet elegant and timeless like the Voiture Noire. It is a one-of-a-kind Bugatti for the enthusiast. We faced a number of technical challenges in terms of the development and design of the Chento Dei. The EB110 is a very flat, wedge-shaped and graphically quasi-two-dimensional super sports car of the late 1980s. Transporting this classic look into the new millennium without copying it was technically complex, to say the least. We had to create a new way of combining the complex aerothermal requirements of the underlying Chiron technology with a completely different aesthetic appearance. The flat horseshoe-shaped radiator at the front reveals its depth only from the side view, with the newly developed deep-seated front spoiler and the three-section air intakes providing a perfect match. The front of the Chento Dei drops very low. The iconic Bugatti horseshoe has been reduced accordingly, while the Bugatti logo macaron sits on the hood, which is interrupted at the center by a black element. This allowed us to rekindle memories of the EB110, says Achim Anstedt. The optimized front section with the extended front splitter and the airflow through the hood further improve the car's aerodynamics. The front is subordinate to the generally low geometry of the vehicle. Despite its original predominant cooling surface, the newly developed complex and very narrow headlamps with integrated LED daytime running lights provide the perfect match. Thanks to the newly developed lighting elements, we were stylistically free in the front and rear sections to pay a respectful homage to the EB110, while at the same time transposing this appealing visual remnants into modern technology, says Achim Anstedt. We incorporated the wedge-shaped design in the development process, but we took it in a new direction. says the designer. Instead of copying the classic Italian wedge, in which the muscle runs from the rear to the front wheel, suggesting a dynamic leap forward, Bugatti strikes out on a new path, Chento Dei. The otherwise dominant Bugatti line, the C line on the B pillar, gives way to a new design significantly smaller than the Chiron. 5 round air inserts positioned in the form of a diamond ensure sufficient air intake from the iconic 16-cylinder engine. In this way, Bugatti has brought forward the visually leaping wedge of the EB110 SS into a new millennium. Instead of the graphic two-dimensional rear of the EB110, with its 2 pill-shaped taillights, the Chento Dei relies on a wide air outlet opening for more efficient engine thermals, bringing to life the flying tail light elements in graphic kinship with the EB110. It took several months to develop solutions to ensure a balanced temperature. As in the EB110, the engine is seen behind the transparent glass surface. The rear is formed into a single ventilation hole, characterized by the 8 rear light elements, 2+2 exhaust tailpipes positioned on the top of each other in a black matte anodized finish, and a performance diffuser to improve downforce. The overhanging rear wing is permanently attached in the style of the original EB110 SS. This increases the downforce. Downforce is supported by the aerodynamic tailgate and a laminar flow optimized rear window. 16-cylinder engine now delivers 1600 horsepower. Instead of the V12, the Chento Dei features an iconic 8-litre W16 engine with 1176 kilowatts or 1600 horsepower at 7000 RPM. An additional air inlet in the area of the oil cooler reliably regulates the temperature of the performance-enhanced engine. The Chento Dei sprints from 0 to 100 km per hour in 2.4 seconds, to 200 km per hour in 6.1 seconds, and 300 km per hour in 13.1 seconds. The top speed is electronically cut off at 380 km per hour. It's not just the top speed that makes a hyper sports car. With the Chento Dei, we once again demonstrated that design, quality, and performance are just as important, says Stephen Winkleman. Compared to the Chiron, the Chento Dei saves 20 kilograms of unladen weight. Among other things, a lightweight windscreen wiper and stabilizers made of carbon are used. This enables a sensational power-to-weight ratio of just 1.13 kilograms per horsepower. The increased power and lower weight further improve performance for even better acceleration at high speeds. The Chento Dei offers our customers an improved power-to-weight ratio and even more dynamic handling, says Stephen Winkleman. The new paint tone matches this. With the communication paint finish in white, we are demonstrating a powerful contrast with the La Voiture Noire, 2 completely opposite yet related forces, like yin and yang, says Stephen Winkleman. He says that this was what continues to set Bugatti apart after 110 years. Naturally, customers can have their special edition Chento Dei painted in the Bugatti color of their choice. Highly exclusive, distinctive, and high performance. At the Quail, a motorsport gathering in California in summer 2019, Bugatti presented another project reflecting its excellent coach-building expertise, the Chento Dei. The Chento Dei evokes automotive history. The unique project is a tribute to the legendary EB110. This view of a project comprises production of just 10 vehicles for an exclusive clientele. With its flat front, low-slung front spoiler, and 3-part air intakes reinterpret the shape of most famous sports car of the 1990s, the EB110. The EB110 was a key milestone on the road to the revival of the Bugatti brand in 1998. At Bugatti's historic headquarters in Molsheim, ultimately resulting in the first hypersports car of the modern era, the Veyron. The Chento Dei is Bugatti's way of paying its respects to the Italian entrepreneur Romano Artioli and architect Giampaolo Benedini, the men who created the EB110 some 30 years ago. The challenge for us was not to get caught up in the design of their legendary EB110 itself and avoid focusing solely on a retrospective approach. Our aim was to create a modern interpretation of the shape and technology of that time, but at the same time, we didn't want to lose the charm and character of the EB110. After all, the super sports car is still fascinating today with its distinctive design and technology, says Achim Anshet, design director at Bugatti. The biggest challenge to transform the very flat, wedge-shaped, graphically virtually two-dimensional body of the EB10 into a modern three-dimensional sculpture to project the fascination of the super sports car of the time into the modern age. Bugatti Chento Dei successfully completes wind tunnel tests. Not even the strongest hurricane comes close to the wind which Chento Dei is subjected to aerodynamic testing in the wind tunnel. It envelops the elegant bodywork at up to 300 km per hour before slipping off at the rear. A 9,300 horsepower engine drives an 8-meter propeller, permanent intensive airflow, powerful enough for an airplane to take off. But not the Bugatti Chento Dei. The prototype of the French luxury manufacturer's new few of hypersports cars remain firmly on the ground. 5 bands simultaneously simulate high speeds up to 300 km per hour, one under each tyre and the 5th under the vehicle floor. We use this to simulate the airflows under the vehicle and in the wheel wells, and then precisely tune the Chento Dei, explains André Kulig, technical project manager for one and few of projects at Bugatti. The drive shafts are dismantled ahead of testing in order to prevent the external drive of the wheels from transferring any forces into the vehicle. The vehicle is then fixed nothing but 4 small pins in the underbody, and its height is varied according to the testing plan. Independently of the number of units, every new Bugatti model goes through a complete development process. To us engineers, whether we are developing a hyper sports car for 1, 10 or 500 units, the effort is the same, as we have and want to meet, even exceed, the quality and safety standards applicable to mass production, explains André Kulig. The flat front construction with a smaller horseshoe shape means the wind flows around the vehicle differently than it does around the Chiron or Devo. With a hypersports car that drives as well above 350 km per hour, the aerodynamic and downthrust have to be 100% right. The particular challenge lies in achieving the target value pre-calculated by the developers. Following computer simulation and the first prototype rollout, additional wind tunnel tests are performed before a vehicle undergoes high-speed testing on the test tracks and proving grounds. With the prototype in the wind tunnel, the developers make slight changes in the invisible range to edge closer to the desired values. The front diffuser flaps can be adjusted by minute angles for this, and the rear wing, which will ultimately be in a fixed position, can likewise be modified by just a few degrees. Even once we have identified the ideal settings, we continue to try others in order to see how the Chento Dei responds, says André Kulig. In the wind tunnel tests, Bugatti engineers check the airflow on and around the Chento Dei at a variety of speeds, starting at 140 km per hour. They use a standard setup to determine a benchmark figure for comparison with the Bugatti Hypersports car. They then run various tests up to the test's bench's maximum speed. What's important are the data for downthrust at the front and rear axles. These have to be perfect because they are crucial to the vehicle's handling at high speeds. The aim is handling that's as balanced as possible at all speeds, from 0 to over 300 kilometers per hour. The temperature of the 8-litre W16 engine with 1600 horsepower also very much depends on the side airflow, as this is how the engine and gearbox oil coolers are supplied with air. Using special fog images, the engineers also check the high-performance system's brake cooling in the wind tunnel. In further tests, the wind hits the bodywork at various sideways angles to simulate the vehicle's handling when taking corners quickly with shifting loads. No matter what speed and what driving situation, the Chento Dei is portally neutral and can be managed at all times in spite of its immense power, says Andrei Kulig. The engineers will clock up many more kilometers on the test tracks and proving grounds over the next few weeks to select a definitive setup. Bugatti presented the Chento Dei within its successful new coach building program in summer 2019. The Chento Dei quotes automotive history. The EB110 became the super sports car of the 1990s. Everything about it was new, from breathtaking design to its exclusive technology. A carbon monocoque, V12 mid-mounted engine with 550 horsepower, 4 turbochargers, and all-wheel drive push it to top speeds of more than 350 kilometers per hour, a feat which was unattainable by any other sports car of that time. With the EB110 and factory, the passionate Bugatti fan, Romano Artioli, was way ahead of his time. He knew how to take Ettore Bugatti's ideas of technology, design, branding, and production standards to an entirely new level. Only 96 EB110 GTs and 32 EB110 Super Sports were produced up to 1995. The Chento Dei is limited to 10 vehicles, all of which were sold out within a matter of hours at the unit price of 8 million euros. Christopher Piccone, president of Bugatti, commented, "The Chento Dei brings together all of the components of the Bugatti brand into one extraordinary package: rarity, innovation, heritage, craftsmanship, and incomparable performance." The entire limited production run of 10 was so sought after by our customers that it was sold out before the Chento Dei had even been officially revealed. Now we're delighted to see the final example has been delivered to its new owner following the intensive development, testing, and bespoke creation process necessary to create a product as significant and rare as the Chento Dei. The EB110 established the formula for the Veyron and the Chiron. Although separated by decades, these cars are timeless in their appeal and united in their dedication to shifting expectations of performance and ability. We now close this chapter of our coach building era, started with the Devo in 2018, but the legend of the EB110 and Chento Dei will forever remain a part of Bugatti history. The interior of the 10th coach-built Chento Dei also features a light blue sport leather finish. The seats, roof liner, door panels, center console, and floor mats are crafted in a symmetrical, quadrate-like pattern, elevated by the Chento Dei in a bespoke form that's befitting for a contemporary coach-built hyper sports car. Like Bugatti's original super sports car of the 1990s, the Chento Dei is a complete high-performance tour de force. It has at its core the iconic Bugatti 8-litre W16 engine, producing 1600 horsepower, ensuring the Chento Dei accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in 2.4 seconds. Top speed is 380 km per hour. Bugatti's chassis and suspension engineers worked extensively to hone and perfect the hypersports car's handling capabilities to produce a unique driving experience. With all 10 examples of the Chento Dei now completed and delivered, the creation of each 10 examples of the coach-built Bugatti Chento Dei is one defined by perfection. Having undergone thousands of hours of testing of every single component, the Chento Dei, meticulously assembled with millimeter precision at the Bugatti Atelier in Molsheim. But before it's delivered to its custodian, it must be given the seal of approval by the most experienced of Bugatti test drivers, Steve Jenny, who upholds a reputation of accepting nothing but the best. Steve pays attention to the smallest detail, familiar with each intricate characteristic of every modern Bugatti. He has driven more than 350,000 kilometers in the Veyron, Chiron, Devo, and the Chento Dei, and it's his job to ensure that every single one of them feels exactly like a Bugatti, free from imperfections. Each car, whether one-off or few-off, like Chento Dei, must follow the same demanding procedure to ensure it will adhere to extremely precise criteria that Bugatti demands before delivering a car to a customer. Despite sharing a powertrain with the Chiron Supersport, the iconic 8-litre W16 engine producing 1600 horsepower Bugatti's engineers worked extensively to perfect the Chento Dei's handling to produce a unique dynamic experience that blends incomparable comfort and unrivaled performance. With only 10 cars ever set to exist, Steve's experience of driving around 800 different Bugatti vehicles is crucial in allowing him to quickly dial in to how the Chento Dei should feel. Having been finished in EB110 argent paint and with its interior meticulously hand-assembled in Molsheim Auteur, Steve takes the utmost care to ensure its finish remains perfect before setting off. The body of the car, as well as the seats, are carefully protected by the team. The Chento Dei is about to be subjected to one of the most intense pre-delivery inspections in the automotive world. He drives through the countryside around the home of Bugatti in Molsheim. Normally takes around 5 hours, covering at least 300 kilometers on a variety of different roads and surfaces. Set routes are defined, adjusting to the season and no matter the weather conditions, allowing Steve to consistently judge the attributes of the car. Taking a twisting mountain roads fringed by vineyards and crawling through typical Alsatian villages, the drive is destined to replicate all conditions that a customer may encounter, assessing Chento Dei's character throughout. For this coach-built few-off car, taking inspiration from the Bugatti EB110 Supersport, the W16 engine is located underneath an EB110 style glass sheet, as opposed to most uncovered as it is in the Chiron. With the engine isolated in this way, Chento Dei has a different oral signature to the Chiron Supersport, and Steve must ensure it is consistent across each of these 10 cars. During the test drive, he will check not only the personality of a Chento Dei, but also any almost imperceptible discrepancies, only obvious to someone with Steve's deep knowledge of Bugatti. The amount that noise from the road and suspension is isolated from the cabin, or even the subtle sounds of flexing leather and carbon fiber that change with temperature and humidity. Each must pass the high standards required by Bugatti. This work is taken to its extremes on the closed runway of a local airport. High-speed slaloms, emergency lane changes, and emergency braking are all tested in complete safety and subjected to intense conditions. Chento Dei is honed until flawless, dynamically perfect in every way, and completely safe and stable for customers. At points on his drive, he will also be checking the various material finishes and bespoke touches applied to each Chento Dei. Bugatti developed custom shapes, parts, and workmanship processes for this car. His sense of the exacting standards set by Bugatti is so accurate that even if any material feels rougher than it should, if the buttons, switches, and handles don't feel or look as they should, he will return to the Atelier to identify, explain, and correct the issues with his colleagues. Everything is measured and analysed, delivered to extremely precise tolerances with zero room for interpretation. Only once a long list of stringent Bugatti criteria has been fulfilled is a car deemed ready for its next stage. The filter in their gearbox is changed, the final set of wheels is fitted, any imperfections are corrected or parts replaced if needed, and the car is taken on one more final test drive of around 50 kilometers, with each car having covered a minimum of 350 kilometers before it is delivered to the customer. Work of automotive art and homage to 110 years of Bugatti history and the culmination of engineering and design excellence leaves Molsheim. Steve Jenny, Bugatti test driver, said, "There is no compromise in the creation of a Bugatti, especially one as rare and unique as the Chento Dei. Since only 10 will ever be created, the opportunities to drive such an extraordinary car are so rare that we must redouble our attention during this final drive, ensuring consistent perfection across each Chento Dei, and every Bugatti is extremely important. If we encounter any issue, we will not be swayed by deadlines or timing. The car will not be delivered until we are confident it is perfect in every single detail. It's what has come to define the Bugatti brand, and it's what our customers expect."